Welcome back. To talk with us a little more about transportation in Maryland, Mr. Jim Ports has agreed to stay with us for another segment. Thank you. We have so much more to learn. Ron, I cut you off on the last question there, so I'm going to throw it to you first.
As Danielle said, we appreciate what the governor and Department of Transportation has done here in Western Maryland. Politics should be totally aside from Interstate 81. It seems like the Department of Transportation should have in their wheelhouse or in their bailiwick a plan for how. I think the cost is less than $300 million to finish out the project. Why that can't be taken out of the political process and done because of the problem it creates of safety. Every time I go up the road, it seems like there's a new cross, there's a new basket of flowers, or something between 81 and the Pennsylvania line, between the Potomac River and the Pennsylvania line. Why can't that? We're dealing with railways, we're dealing with roadways, and we're dealing with runways. The tower is extremely important to us, which I hope you do get back to us. But 81 is more important. I don't know of another area in the state where on Route 95, individual governments have to go in to get a project done. So I guess, should Interstate 81 be a political football? Shouldn't it be something that the State Highway Administration should take care of independently of whoever's governor?
Well, I don't know that it is a political football, to be quite honest with you. The way it works, so we have about 75 billion, with a B, dollars worth of needs throughout the state. And currently we have 14.4 billion of monies to spend on all the projects. So as I mentioned, there's needs throughout the state, like for example, 404 is a top priority down the Eastern Shore, been on the books for decades, and it's finally getting done this time, okay? I-81 is an extremely important project. We're obviously studying and looking at the truck traffic. We're seeing increased truck traffic. We understand the importance of, for example, Bob O'Mac, as I mentioned earlier, and all the truck traffic going up and down 81, up and down the East Coast. So we get it. So I don't think it's a political football. I think it's a matter of, just like your household income, you know, you, as I mentioned before, your roof may be leaking, and you might want a new roof. But when you talk to your wife, you don't make a political football about whether you get a new roof or fix the roof, you know, patch it up.
Depends whether it's raining or not.
Yeah, it depends on how nice you are to your wife, I guess. But anyway, so you might make the decision to patch the roof now until you get the funds together to fix the roof. Well, and we have to do that all over the state. And that's what this is about. And we're doing the best we can. And again, like I mentioned, you know, Governor Hogan's been here 18 months.
Right.
True.
I mean, we didn't hear all this stuff for a while until he came in office. And now that you have a governor who's truly dedicated to rural Maryland, now everybody wants everything done today. Well, we're working on it.
And I think, from my perspective, I think in the past, in the previous administration, it was a political football. And I think that some of the people that we sent to Annapolis, some of the changes we made in Annapolis in terms of our elected officials maybe hurt us in terms of doing that in the previous administration. So I get where you're coming from, and Ron, I get where you're coming from too, because you're right. I've heard about this a long time.
It's a corridor. It's not anything else. A corridor. It's an 81 corridor. I was in Binghamton, New York, 2 days ago, and drove from Binghamton through here, all on Interstate 81. So it's not something that shouldn't have thought of by all departments of transportation.
No, we agree, and I think it's an important point that you're making. You know, there were projects on the books in the Glendenning administration that got funded through the Ehrlich administration. There were projects in the Ehrlich administration that some got funded, some didn't get funded in the O'Malley administration. There are projects in the O'Malley administration, some will get funded and some won't. So, for example, the Red Line won't, right? And the Red Line not getting funded helped spur some of the other economic development that we can have throughout the state. But it's not about politics. It's about priorities. And you can't have, all roads. You can't have all transit. It's got to be a balance between all of these different types of transportation needs that we have throughout the state. So yeah, we're focused on this.
Colin, is there anything on your mind that you were hoping to ask while he's here?
Yes, absolutely. So to backtrack a little bit, and I'm going to piggyback to some degree off of some things that were asked already, keeping in mind the original purpose of the interstate system, which was really a defensive purpose, so it was a strategic purpose. If you look at the Washington, D.C. area, obviously our nation's capital, you've got several highways, some of which are more vulnerable than others. 95 is pretty much a wash. You've got I-66 that goes into Nowheresville, Virginia. No offense against I-66. You've got I-70, which is the major thoroughfare west of Washington. And then you've got I-81, which really is the only alternate in case I-95 is compromised for any reason. Having said all that, is there federal funding? Again, keeping in mind what the basic nuance or the reasoning behind the interstate system was in the first place. Is there any federal funding that we get to help with some of these projects?
Well, I'm not sure the feds look at it that way anymore. It's more about priorities as far as congestion. Safety is clearly a priority. There is some thought to evacuation routes, obviously, but it really depends on where the event is, because it could be a hurricane, which could be anywhere, usually on the shore. It could be tornadoes, which could obviously happen anywhere. It could be some type of disturbance, civil disturbance or terrorism throughout the capital area. So really, there's no rhyme or reason as to where these events may occur, but our entire system is utilized for evacuation purposes, and we have an evacuation, a very comprehensive, quite frankly, evacuation plan, whether it be for DC out or from Baltimore out this way. You could have them from a lot of different directions. So you're right. Many of these roads are used for that purpose, but I'm not sure that they're evaluated from the federal government for that reason.
Well, I would be surprised, honestly, just knowing the way that the military contingency planning works, that somebody out there is not thinking about this. We don't really worry about it until we need them, and then when we need them, then it becomes a real issue. If we don't have them, that doesn't do us a whole lot of good. Just out of curiosity.
No, well, we had the events 9/11, and obviously we had a tremendous evacuation process, utilizing the same roads that we have today. And so we didn't really have the planning that we do now, but it's a lot better today than it was then.
Very good, thank you.
Well, Mr. Ports, we have a couple minutes left, and I see you have something there that you brought. I would love for you to share that with us and talk a little bit about what all that is.
Well, you know what this is? This is our newly designed Maryland license plate. Governor has been very active in this display, open for business, and Maryland proud. But besides that, I wanted to present you guys with a FlipSide
That
plate.
is amazing.
That's cool.
We made one especially for you.
Oh,
Very nice.
excellent.
Thank
And
you.
what we try to do is we
That's cool.
for $20, you can replace your 18, 12, or whatever plate you have on your
I'll tell you
your
what,
car.
I will be ordering. That is the coolest. I saw one of those. I just bought a new car a couple of months ago, and I saw one of those, and I thought, wow, that is great.
Well, if you get this-
because number one, we've got a great flag. Can anybody
we do.
dispute that?
the prettiest flag in the country. And-
Absolutely.
And, when you buy this, you will ride with pride
Oh,
throughout
that
the
is-
state of Maryland. That's what
that
I'll tell
is
you. So
amazingly
anyway,
cool.
feel free. And we do like to promote that. Like I said, Governor Hogan, you see this before, open for business, and the Maryland Pride. And we did that with this and the license. And the
That's
governor was
great.
very involved in both designs. So he's very excited about using the flag and a
That-
lot of
that
our,
is really
and a lot of
cool.
our information.
So I want to hit a fun topic, even at the risk of running a little over. But the potential exists that we could order something from Amazon or some retailer, and it's brought to our house in an autonomous vehicle, and then a little whirlybird thing takes it out and puts it on our doorstep. What is your fear? What is your hope? What do you think about all of this technology that could hit our roadways very, very quickly?
Okay, well, to quickly address your one question about the drones is that's an FAA,
Okay.
Federal Aviation Administration issue. So they will put parameters and being in the Washington
And-
area.
and they
they're
have-
gonna
they
and
have already,
right?
yeah.
Exactly. So that's one issue. But the other issue about autonomous vehicles or connected vehicles is what we sometimes say. There's a few things going on, and we have a work group. It's a statewide work group. We're working with state police, working with attorneys, working with private sector. We're working with people throughout the industry, working with NHTSA, National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, which I used to be the deputy administrator of for a while. And through that work group, we're looking at ways to advance technology in Maryland. There's a few different ways to do that. So there's what they call V2V, or vehicle to vehicle, which means the vehicles can talk to each other. And hopefully by them talking to each other, what they'll do is they'll put those spatial relationships between each other, and instead of start, stop, we'll all be flowing at the same rate of speed when everybody gets connected. The other side of that is V to I, which is vehicle to infrastructure. So an easy way to look at that is when your vehicle comes up to a turn, there will be signalization up here on some of the signage that says you're coming to a turn, it'll connect to your vehicle, and if you're not slowing down enough for that turn, your vehicle will automatically slow down for you for a safety aspect. I know it's scary. It's almost like Star Trek stuff.
Wow, yeah.
But it's here today. You've seen some of the lane change assist things,
Right.
where you get the blinks or you get the vibrating steering wheel or the seat. And some cars won't let you change the lane if there's a vehicle in your blind spot. So this technology is here. Cruise control was kind of like the earliest technology
yeah,
that, if you will. But now they have the cruise control, which talks to the other vehicle and can, through sonar, will determine if you're too close to that vehicle and then will back you off. So we're very excited about that. We can't get ahead of it
Right.
because it has to be a national standard. All the vehicles have to talk to each other on a national level, and the feds will really drive the regulations as far as that goes. But we're ahead of the game here in Maryland because Chrissy Nizer, the MVA administrator, is chairing that work group for the Department of Transportation. And matter of fact, they were meeting today. I missed that meeting to come out here. And we are really advancing the ball. So we're going to be ready in the state of Maryland, both from an infrastructure side, working with SHA, and the vehicle side, working with the MVA. But there's a lot of issues that go with that. So it depends on how autonomous the vehicle is. Some will not have a driver in it at all, may not even have a steering wheel in the vehicle.
Yeah, that's scary.
And that's scary. And then, of course, you're familiar with the Tesla. The
Right.
Tesla has a lot of those automated features already today. So it's really exciting technology, and we're looking forward to it.
I'm still scared to use cruise control myself. It's going to take me a long time to get on board with all of those
Yeah.
technology changes. So thank you so much for coming out, out of your busy schedule to meet with us. It was a really enlightening conversation, and just really proud about all the successes that have been happening for our state.
My pleasure. It's the second time in a week that I've been out here, and I
All
love
right.
it.
Keep it
I love
up.
coming out
Excellent.
here.
Come
So
back
invite
again,
me back. I'll
please.
be more than happy to come back.
Definitely. Well, next up on the flip side, we'll discuss how clowns have been causing mayhem in America. We're back in 3 minutes.